Hey, what is up YouTube? Jason here with Tech, and today we're taking a look at the new Xbox One controller. Back at E3, Microsoft announced the Xbox One S, and along with it, an updated controller. The newer controller switched over to using Bluetooth, as well as a slightly modified design over the original. The icing on the cake was Microsoft announcing the Xbox Design Lab. The Design Lab will let you customize a controller with your favorite colors. The color selection is decent, but not as detailed as other services like Colorware, which is where I got my green PS4 controller from. That being said, the Xbox Design Lab only charges a $20 premium to customize a controller, much cheaper than its competitors, and the full quality you would expect coming directly from Microsoft. But while the color selection is relatively limited, I found that the options available made it hard to make a truly ugly controller. In my opinion, all the colors look better in person than they do on the Design Lab website. And if you're near a Microsoft store, I'd really recommend checking them out in person. With all that said, how is it to use? Well, with Xbox One, it's business as usual, sync it up and go, but on PC, it's a little more complicated. To use the controller over Bluetooth, Windows has to have a couple of requirements. You need to be running Windows 10, and more importantly, install the anniversary update if you haven't already. From there, press the Xbox button to turn on the controller and the sync button to put it in pairing mode. On Windows, launch Bluetooth preferences. From there, select the controller and press pair. Finally, you'll know it's paired and ready to go when the Xbox button is on and solid. I moved over from using a DualShock 4 with Input Mapper, and that had some compatibility issues with a few games, so how does the One S controller fare? Rocket League, which has pretty good controller support, handled it beautifully. I had a bug with the DualShock 4 that would add an additional player when the start button was pressed, and thankfully, that's not a thing with the Xbox One S controller. The rumble on the controller is also really unique if you haven't used an Xbox One controller before. It's really strong and spread out through the controller into the triggers. It's a really solid feeling. I expected Rocket League to work well, but Dark Souls games typically hate controllers a little bit more on PC. Thankfully, Dark Souls 3 also worked right out of the box without issues. One other neat new feature of the controller is the ability to route audio through the built-in headphone jack. The controller must be connected through Bluetooth for it to work, but when connected, Windows will automatically move the output source to the controller. So, overall, what are my impressions of the controller? I really like it. I'm a huge fan of the DualShock 4 controller overall, but this has become my go-to controller for PC gaming. I wish a rechargeable battery was built in, but battery life is decent over 2 AA's, and the controller can be used over micro USB as well, if needed. So those were my thoughts on the Xbox One S Design Labs controller. I love my candy apple green controller, but would love to hear what kind of design you guys would get. Let me know in the comments below. Once again, this is Jason with Tech. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.